My name is Sri Shaktivel. Today we are going to see about the concepts of ProxySQL configuration for the Galera cluster. Okay. So the session will be most of the part of the session will be covered with demo. Okay, in the terminal for the better understanding. And I have the slide. I have prepared the slide as well. I will explain the slide first, then we can go to the demo session. So this is about me. You can find me in the Twitter with Hercules at 7 Shakti. And I'm currently working as a MySQL consultant at Vitabase, and I have overall 7 years experience in the MySQL environment. I worked for Percona, I worked for MyDBOps, I worked for Chittadita, and currently now I am working for Vitabase. And I'm the active blogger. You can find my blogs in the Percona blog site and just the beta database blog site and my DBOps website. And I have my own YouTube channel to share the MySQL related videos, technical videos. You can find my channel in the YouTube. Okay, and of course, I'm the community lover. I would like to contribute back to community through the blogs. Currently, I'm doing with my blogs and YouTube and presentations. Yeah, and this is about Vitabase. We are providing the expert consulting on different databases like MariaDB, MySQL, Postgres, and Cassandra. And we are also providing the automation with Ansible and the similar solutions. And we are providing the DB database training for the DBAs and DevOps and developers and data analysts. And we are providing the service as a DBSS service. Okay, we can support you to upgrade your environment and health checks, and you may have some database issues that we can help you to overcome the issues and those things. So if you are looking the database related help, please contact us and the sales at vitabase.com. Okay, and this is the agenda of the talk today. So first we will see the overview and about the basic things like what is ProxySQL, what is Galera, and the simple architecture, and we will see the components available in the ProxySQL to support the Galera. And then we will enter into the demo session. There we will see the complete ProxySQL plus Galera configuration and how we can split the load across the nodes and how we can do the automatic failover by using the ProxySQL. And finally, we have the question and answer session. Okay, so let's start from the basic. So first, what is Galera cluster, right? So we have the Galera replication plugin. When we integrate that with MySQL or MariaDB and Percona server, then we can call it as a Galera cluster. Okay, this provides the WSREP API. And the Galera cluster is the synchronous cluster, works based on the certification. And you can use it as a multi-node multi-writer. Maybe if you have 3-node Galera cluster, you can write on the 3 nodes, or you can write on the single node. Okay, that we have the better handling with the ProxySQL. We will see in the demo. Okay, and of course the Galera cluster is the high availability solution because when your node if you have the single writer and one of your writer comes down, you can use the other node without any interruption. Okay, and then what is a ProxySQL? ProxySQL is a high performance SQL our proxy for MySQL. Okay, and most of the configurations you can do without the restart of ProxySQL. Okay, so you can do on the fly, and it will be taken. So you don't need to restart the ProxySQL. Okay, and it have the native Galera support from the version 2. From before the version 2, we have the version 1. There also we have it can support the Galera, but we need to do some additional things. Okay, we need to add some scripts in the schedulers. In that way, it will support. But from ProxySQL version 2, it have the native support for the Galera cluster. And using the Galera cluster, using the ProxySQL, we can do many things. It can do the intelligent load balancing. You can do the connection pooling, multiplexing, data masking, rewrite split, and query cache. There are a lot of features we have in the proxy SQL. Okay, this is the basic architecture, how this setup is works. Okay, so we have the 3 node Galera cluster, which is node 1, node 2, node 3, and we have the application between intermediate between the application and Galera cluster. We have the proxy SQL. So your application will connect to the proxy SQL, and your proxy SQL will route the connections to the backend cluster, Galera cluster, and it will work on. Okay, so this is the basic architecture, how it is working. And there are major 3 components we have in the proxy SQL to support Galera cluster. One is the health check configurations. So this is, there are 3 variables we have to check the health check timeout and the interval. Okay, and host group configuration, we have the dedicated table in the proxy SQL to configure the host group, which is the table name is MySQL underscore Galera underscore host group. So today we will see that how the different things are working with this host group. Okay, and the Galera monitor logs. So you using, there is also one table which is the MySQL underscore server underscore Galera underscore log. So using that table, you can check the statistics of your Galera nodes. Each nodes, you can check the different statistics for the particular time. Okay, that is very useful to monitor, to get some statistics about your Galera nodes for your investigation or troubleshooting purposes. And yeah, first one is the health check configuration. So these are the 3 variables we have to do the health check based on the interval and timeout. Okay, so this value are in the milliseconds. So 5000, which is the 5 seconds, and 0.8 seconds, and finally we have the count. So health check control, it will work based on the timeout and interval. Okay, with for which means for every 5 seconds it will check the health of the backend nodes, and if the backend node is not reachable, then it will time out with 0.8 seconds. That is the meaning here. And it will again, the count we have 3, it will again try for the 3 times. If it is not reachable, then it will take the necessary actions. Okay, so the basic configuration is mostly enough. Maybe if you are frequently having some health check issues with your environment, maybe you can consider to increase or decrease. Okay, but the default configuration is more than enough. And this is the host group configuration. This is completely about the table MySQL underscore Galera underscore host groups. So there we have the different columns, which is writer host group, reader host group, backup host group, offline host group, max writers. It will define how much writers you want. Okay, you can also control this by setting the read only manually in your Galera node. But if all your node is read only equal to 0, then you can choose how many writers you want. From the proxy SQL itself, you can select. And writer is also reader. We have 3 values for this variable, 0, 1, and 2. We will see this in the demo session. We will see this detail. Okay, and monitoring. We have the table from the monitor database in the proxy SQL. The table name is MySQL underscore server underscore Galera underscore log. So as I told, we can monitor the statistics of the each node in the Galera cluster in some time. Maybe before 30 minutes, I have some issues with the Galera node. Then you can check what is the status of the particular nodes before 30 minutes using the proxy. Okay, so it will provide the details about your queue, local receive queue, maintenance mode, read only, and whether the WSUB thing is enabled or not. Those things you can check it from this table. So here I have provided the example, so by default your time start US, the time is in the Unix timestamp, so you need to convert it. Okay, and here you can see I just choose the read only and WSUB local receive queue desync, and if you have any error, those things you can monitor using this table. Demo time. So as I told, most part of this presentation is demo. So let's move on. We are going to see the demo with 3 node Galera cluster. I have already installed the Galera cluster. The nodes are Galera 1 and Galera 2 and Galera 3, and this is my host group settings. Okay, so yes, let's go to the demonstration. So here I have used my Sublime text pad to I have written all the comments already here, because to avoid the time consumption during the presentation, I have prepared all the comments here, and we are going to execute one by one, and we will try to understand the different components. Okay, so and here is my terminal. I have splitted my terminal in two parts. So whatever modifications or variable changes we will execute in this terminal, and here completely we will see the ProxySQL client. We will use it. Okay. So first, I would like to show you. I have configured 3-node Galera cluster. So I just executed in the for loop with the Galera 1 and Galera 2 and Galera 3 nodes. So here you can see my cluster size is 3, which means I have 3-node Galera cluster, and the status is primary, and the cluster is operational, and the node, all the nodes are in the sync, and the provider name is Galera. Okay, so I have the 3-node Galera cluster configured already, and here this is the ProxySQL. I just logged. This is the first installation. I did not configure anything. We are going to configure now, and we will try to understand one by one. Okay, so let me give the overview before enter into the configuration session. So in ProxySQL, we need because in the image we see, right, your application will connect to your ProxySQL, and your ProxySQL will connect to your cluster. Okay, so in this case, your ProxySQL will aware of your cluster nodes, and it needs to monitor your cluster so that it can, the ProxySQL will up to date, right, about your cluster status and your cluster nodes, all those things, right? So we need to first configure the host groups. What are the, which is the writer host group and reader host, all those things we need to do. Then we need to tell the ProxySQL, hey, I have these 3 nodes. Okay, how it will understand? It will understand with the IPs. Okay, I need to tell the IPs of the Galera nodes. Then I will also update the host group. Then I will create one user for the monitoring, because application is connecting to the ProxySQL, and the ProxySQL need to be aware which node is up and which node is down, and whether the nodes are reachable or not. Those things ProxySQL need to be aware, right? So for that, we need to configure one user so that ProxySQL can connect the backend Galera cluster, and it will monitor the stuff, the health check. It will do the health check for the Galera cluster. If the node is health, then it will route the connection. Okay, so for that, we need to configure the monitor user and password. Okay, then finally, we need to create the application connection. Okay, we need to whitelist the user in the ProxySQL, so that when the application is trying to connect the ProxySQL needs to aware, okay, this user is whitelisted. Okay, in that case, if the user is whitelisted in the ProxySQL, then it will allow. Otherwise, it will decline the connection. Okay, so let's see one by one. So first one is I'm going to configure the host group. So I already defined here. You can see this is just a number. You can have any number. Okay, for this host group, you can have any number. I just configured writer host group is 10, which means what are the servers under the writer host group, that they have the label 10. Okay, and reader host group is 20, and backup host group is 30, and offline host group is 40. This is I define, and this is the table. Let me show the structure here. Show create table SQL Galera host group. So here you can see the different columns: writer host group, backup writer host group, reader host group, and offline host group. So these 4 columns that we already defined, and your rule which is active or not. So I need to set it 1 to active. And max writers, maybe you can, if you have 3 nodes, you can choose 1 node as a writer, or 2 nodes, or 3 nodes. That depends. That actually depends. So you can choose it from here in the ProxySQL itself. And writer is also reader. We have 3 values for this: 0, 1, 2. So we will see in the later demonstration. And max transaction behind, which is if you have the flow control, then how many transaction be behind. If it is more than that, then it will shun the node. Okay, I mean no queries will route further. Okay, if it is reached the threshold. So I already prepared the insert statement. So here insert into MySQL Galera host group, writer, backup, reader. As I mentioned here, I created this insert. Let me execute this in the ProxySQL. Okay, so I done with this, and in ProxySQL, as I told, you don't, after any modification, you don't need to, most of the configuration, you don't need to restart your ProxySQL. You can just load the configuration at the moment by using the queries. Okay, and also you can save the configuration into disk. And we have the proxysql.cnf also under the /etc directory. You can use it. You can also use it for to configure the things. Okay, but I would like to prefer this. Because directly you can, for example, after I made this configuration, there are two queries, which is load MySQL servers to runtime and save MySQL servers to disks. So first one will load the configuration, what I did, and the next one is it will process the configuration to disk. Okay, so I just executed. So my configuration is shared. So I can verify by checking this table. So here you can see my configuration is updated. Okay, so first we define the host groups. The next thing is I need to tell the ProxySQL what are the nodes address, so that ProxySQL reach the nodes and it can monitor. Okay, so here we need to provide this nodes details in the MySQL underscore servers table. Okay, so there we have the different columns. So these are the host group ID, host name, port, and status. And you can also configure the weight and the connections, those things in this table. But this is fine for now. Okay, so for me, what I chosen is I have chosen the first node. The 19 is the writer, which means 10. Host group ID is 10. So host group ID 10 means writer host group is 10. So which means this node will be the master and the other two nodes will be the reader. So this is what I chosen. So let me execute this query in the ProxySQL. And it is executed, and again whenever you are doing the modification on the table, you need to load the configuration and you need to persist, you need to save your configuration in the disk. So this is also I made the changes in the MySQL server. So load MySQL servers to runtime and save MySQL servers to disk. Okay, now let me check, select these columns, and from MySQL underscore servers, and I can see all the three nodes are updated. Okay, and then I need, so we provided the server details to the ProxySQL, and also we tell these are the host groups. Now ProxySQL have the enough details, but it needs to monitor the three nodes, right? So for that we need to provide the access to ProxySQL to access the cluster. Okay, so for that we have two variables, which is MySQL monitor username and MySQL monitor password. So these users are already created. So by default, this is monitor and monitor. Okay, so let me show you. So here you can see which is the password and username, both are monitor. You can update what you create. You need to create one user in the cluster, and you need to update here. I already created the user. My username is mon, and my password is vita@321. Okay, so let me update this in the ProxySQL. So yes, I updated, and here I made the modification in the variables, right? It is not server, it is the variable. So I need to execute load MySQL variables to runtime and save MySQL variables to disk. Let me update it. Yes, it is executed. And yeah, of course, if I check this, the current status, you can see the username and password both are updated. So once you updated the monitor user and password, then ProxySQL will start to monitor your backend database. Okay. Then again, we need to provide the, we need to whitelist the user in the ProxySQL. Okay. For example, when I am trying to use connect the ProxySQL using the app, username is app, this user should be whitelisted in the ProxySQL. If it is not whitelisted, then the connection will be terminated. It will not allow. Okay. So for whitelist, there is a table which is MySQL underscore users. There I need to update the username and password, and you can update the default host group and maximum connections. Those are things you can update. Okay. And you can use the hash actually to update the for some security purpose. You can use the hash to update. You can also update the plain text passwords. Okay, and let me copy this, and I am inserting into the ProxySQL. And same thing, I need to load the change, and I need to save it. So here, load MySQL users and save MySQL users, because we are doing the changes in the user. Okay, and yes, so this is updated. We did the ProxySQL related configurations, and we also whitelisted the user. So now we are good to connect. Actually, using this app, we are good to use. Actually, ProxySQL will use the two ports. One is by default 6032 and 6033. 6032 is for your admin activities. For what are the activities you want to change any configurations in the ProxySQL, then you need to connect the 603 port. 6032 port. Okay, this is the admin port, and there is another port which is 6033. That port you need to connect for the users, for application users, or if you want to connect your database, then you can connect through the ProxySQL using 6033 port. Okay, so now as I told, we already made the settings. Now let's check one connection. For example, 7.0.0.1, and the port is 6033, and the user app we already created, and I am trying to list the databases. Okay, and it is asking for the password app at 321, and I can see the available databases here using the through the ProxySQL. Okay, the user connected to ProxySQL and ProxySQL connected to database, and it retrieved the informations. Okay, fine. So this is about the basic configurations. Now let's check the status, and we can try to understand the different columns available in the MySQL underscore Galera underscore host groups. Okay, so let me check the status, and you might aware in the ProxySQL, for every tables we have the runtime tables also. Okay, so for MySQL underscore servers table, you have the runtime underscore MySQL underscore table. So similarly, for all the tables, we have the runtime tables. It will display the current status of your configuration. Okay. Yeah. Now we did the configurations, and we can check the status using from the runtime MySQL underscore servers table. Okay. So here you can see 8 rows. Actually, I configured only 3 rows, right? The 3 nodes I configured in the MySQL underscore servers, but when I check the runtime status, I can see there are 8 rows. Okay, so let's try to understand this. Before that, I would like to execute this query also. Then I will explain. Okay, fine. So this is our host row configuration table. Okay, we did this configuration. So now let's try to understand this. So 10. First, we can see 10. Host group ID is 10. Okay, there are 3 nodes. In these 3 nodes, we can see the different IPs, .19, .137, and .32. They are different IPs, and if I check the status, shunned, and online. Okay, because there is no read-only enabled on these 2 nodes. Okay, on these 2 nodes, there is no read-only enabled. So ProxySQL is considering this all the three nodes as a writer. Okay, all the three nodes can capable to write. Okay, because we did not enable any read-only configuration. So ProxySQL is putting all the three nodes in the writer host group. Writer host group is 10. We did the configuration here. Writer host group is 10. And we also put one more configuration, which is max writers equal to 1. Okay. So in that case, ProxySQL can write only one node. So for that purpose, ProxySQL make this only node as a online and other two nodes as a shunt. Okay, so this is about the first three rows. Then the second one is we put writer is also reader equal to 1, which means my writer node is also capable to receive the reads. It can execute the select queries. And other, and we have other two nodes. They will be probably they will be in the reader host group. So for that reason, the host group ID 20 is assigned for all the three nodes. Okay, so here you can see my reader host group is 20. So all the three nodes are available in the reader host group. So all the three, which means all the three nodes can receive the reads. Okay, so that is the reason. I mean, that is what here. And finally, you can see there are two nodes which is available in the host group ID 30. Okay, 30 means which is backup writer host group. Okay, because one node is already in the writer host group and other two nodes are available in the backup writer host group, because we did not enable the read only mode on these two nodes. So that is the reason it is available in the backup writer host group. Okay, so then now, so hopefully this is understandable, right? So why we have 10 3 nodes and 23 nodes and 32 nodes. So now let's try to enable the read only on these two nodes, 137 and dot 19, and we can see how the status is changing. Okay, so let me update the read only mode on these two nodes. So I will connect here MySQL u admin, and the current value is 0. So I am going to set it to 1. Set global. I just set it, and currently the read only is enabled on the 19. And let me do the same for the another node as well. This 137. Okay, now I made the other two nodes as a read only mode, which means these two nodes are currently read only mode. Now let's check the status. Okay, so this is changed from 8 rows to 4 rows. Previously we got 8 rows here, right? So now I can see only 4 rows because we enabled the read only mode on the two nodes. In that case, that two nodes cannot read any writes, right? So we for this 137 and dot 19, both nodes are currently running with the read only mode, which means they cannot receive any writes. They can only receive the reads. Okay, so for that purpose, you can see now the master is master, I mean the writer is already dot 32, which is already in the 32, and writer is also reader, which is 1. So for that reason, that 32 is also in the reader pool. Okay, and these two nodes are, I mean that 19 and dot 37 both are now running with the read only mode, so they cannot receive any writes. They can only receive the reads, so they are in the reader host group. Okay, so they can, this 19 and 137, they cannot receive any writes, right? So that is the reason these two nodes are removed from the writer host group, and these two nodes are removed from the backup writer host group. Okay, because they are not capable to receive the writes now. We enable the read only mode there, right? So these two nodes cannot be receive any writes, so they are removed from the writer host group, and this last two lines, they are also not they are also removed from the backup writer host group, because now the read-only mode is enabled, so they are not capable to receive the writes, so they are also removed from the backup writer host group. So now we have only this four lines. The top two and bottom two, four, that lines are removed after we set the read-only mode. Now we have only this 32, and here the other three, because why we have three nodes are in the reader group is because we have writer is also reader equal to 1, which means the writer also can receive the reads. So that is the reason the dot 32 is available in the reader pool as well as writer pool. Okay, now we can change this setting, like yeah, first we can check the max writers. So now I'm going to change it to 2. Okay, for example, update SQL Galera host group, set max writers equal to 2, and load MySQL servers to runtime. Okay, I just previously we had only one writer. Now I am just changing it to two writer. I need two writer. Okay, now let me check the current status. There is no change, right? I just made the max writer equal to 2, but there is only one node with which have the read only mode disabled. Other two nodes are enabled, they are read only enabled, right? So in that case, ProxySQL cannot allocate the other node into the writer pool. Okay, so for that purpose, now what I'm going to do is I am going to set the read only. I am going to disable the read only on 19.19. Okay, here. Now let's check the status. Yes. So now if you check the status, 19 and dot 32 is both the nodes are currently available in the writer pool. Okay, because we set max writer equal to 2. Yeah, we set max writer equal to 2, which means we are telling to ProxySQL to allow the writes to two nodes. Okay, so because and even after that we had the restriction here with the read-only mode. Once I disable the read-only mode on the 19, then now 19 is available in the writer pool and as well as reader pool, because we have the setting writer is also reader equal to 1. Okay, so this is about the max writer. So it will allow the writers, I mean it will choose how many nodes can be written. Okay, so now let me disable the read only mode on the other node as well. Now all the nodes are without read only. Okay, so let me check the status, and here you can see as per our configuration, two nodes are available in the writer host group based on our max writers configuration, and all the three nodes are available in the reader host group because we set the writer is also reader equal to 1. So all the three nodes are available in the reader host group. And finally we have the remaining one node, because two nodes are already writer, they are in the 10, and we have only one remaining node, and we also disable the read only mode here, which is available in the backup writer host group. Okay, fine. So now we can set the different configurations. Let me make it max writers equal to 1, and let me load it. And if you check the current status, before what we had before, we have the same status. We have only one writer, so other two nodes are shunned, and one node is in the writer, and other two nodes are in the reader host group, and the two nodes which do not receive the writes, they are in the backup writer host group. Now we can check the other two configurations in the writer host group. I mean writer is also reader. So currently we have only one, right? One. So now I'm going to change writer is also reader equal to 0. Okay, and load MySQL servers to time. Okay, so previously we had writer is also reader equal to 1. Now I changed it to 0. And now check the status of the runtime server. Here you can see only one node online in the writer host group, which is .32 can receive the writes, and other two nodes are available in the backup host group. Okay, they are currently in the backup host group. So which means there is no readers. Okay, so when I try to execute some read queries, then it will not work. For example, let me show you here. Yeah, so now I am trying to execute select at that host name. Yeah, password. Fine, because we did not configure the query rules yet, so that is the reason currently this query is executing. So I will explain that after we configure the query rules. Okay, so now we can see this. Currently, there is no reader host group. Okay, then now I am going to set writer is also reader equal to 2, and we can see. So with when I set writer is also reader equal to 0, I can see there is no reader host group, and all the nodes are under the I mean one writer and other two nodes are under the backup host group. Now let me change writer is also reader equal to 2, that value, and load MySQL servers to runtime, and I am checking the current status. I can see yes. So when we set the writer is also reader equal to 2, what happens? The backup, what are the nodes available in the backup writer host group? Okay. So here we had two nodes which are available in the backup writer host group, which is 19 and 137. They will be placed in the reader host group. Okay. So for example, this 19 and .137, both the nodes are available in the backup host group, and they are also available in the reader host group. But this 32.32 is the writer. That writer node will not receive any reads. When we set writer is also reader equal to 2. Okay, so which means it is clear, like when we set writer is also reader equal to 1, which means all the nodes available in the backup writer host group and the writer host group will be receive the reads. When we set writer is also reader equal to 0, which means what are the Galera nodes have the read only enabled, those nodes will be available to receive the reads. When we set writer is also reader equal to 2, in that case, what are the nodes available in the backup writer host group? They will be available to receive the reads, but the master, I mean the writer node, will not receive any reads. Okay, fine. So this is I would like to explain here with the how this max writers and the uh, writer is also reader, both that variables are working actually. Okay, now we can check that we can try to configure the read write split. Okay, so here I had one simple role, which is just I am forwarding the selects to my reader host group, and all the other queries will be executed in the writer host group. Okay, this is the regex. You can your own already there are a lot of blocks which explains the different rules. For example, if you want to execute the select with for update on the writer node, then you can make the rule for it. And if you want to execute some particular selects with particular join and shorting, then you can, if you want to execute that in the writer, you can create your own rule. Okay, so for this rewrite split more purposely, I just created only one rule. So here you can see my rule ID, which is 1 and which is active, and match this, which means what are the queries are starting with the select, all the queries will be executed in the destination goes to 20. Okay, execute this. The query is executed, and as I told, what are the changes you are doing, you should load and save your configuration. Okay, and select MySQL query rules. Yeah, from MySQL query rules. And my rule is created. I also loaded the configuration here. So now let me try to do some simple queries with the read split app at 321, and here app at 321, and app 321. So here you can see my current writer node is Galera 2. Okay. So after applying this rule, select rule, you can see when I execute the select statement with select added hostname, you can see all the queries are executing in the Galera 3 and the Galera node, Galera 1. They are not going to the Galera 2. Okay, because which is currently acting as a writer. Okay. So in this way, you can this is a basic a way how you can split your select statements completely from your writer to reader node. Okay, you should define your own rules, how you want to split. Maybe some users in some environment select with some statement for some table, they should execute it in the writer node. Okay, in that case you need to exclude that, and you need to define your uh, own query rule. Okay, this is just an example how we can split the selects completely from the writer to reader. Okay, and the next one is automatic failover. Let me check the current status. I have one master and I have other two nodes available in the backup writer host group, and I have two nodes also available in the reader host group. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut down the current writer, which is .32. I think it is the Galera 2 node. So I'm going to manually shut down the MySQL service on this node. Then we can see what is happening. Okay, so for example, Galera 2, and let me verify the host. Yeah, so this is .32, which is currently the writer node. Okay, .32, which is in the online. So now let me stop the MySQL service. It is getting stopped. Yeah, so the MySQL service is stopped now. Yeah, which is inactive. Now let me check the status here. And you can see currently .137 is the writer node. Okay, .137 is the writer node. So previously .32 is the writer node, which hold the 10 host group, writer host group with online status. Now the 137 is the online with host group ID 10. This is the writer node now, and you can see that .32 is moved to the offline host group. Offline host group is 40, so which is currently moved to the offline host group. Okay, so let me and also you can define the weight, actually the server which holds the higher weight. For example, let me show you here. Show create table MySQL underscore servers. So here there is a column weight. Okay, so here you can define the weight. I mean, maybe for server 1 you define 10, and server 2 you define 20, which means uh, when your current writer is going down, which node have the higher weight, that will be promoted as a next writer. Okay, so you can choose it by configuring the weight. Okay, so now let me start this node again. Yes, the node is started. And let me check the status again. So you can check this again. We have the rows, and again we have only one writer. That node, the Galera 2, what we stopped and restarted, that is the current writer. Okay. So yes, this is what I thought to show here with this configuration, like MySQL Galera host group and other settings. So probably let me go to the slide. So during this session, we came to know how to configure the proxy SQL for the Galera cluster, and mainly we tried to understand the different columns available in the MySQL underscore Galera underscore host groups table. Okay, there is a backup writer host group, and writer is also reader and max writers. So let me give the quick overview on that. Max writers means which will define how much writers you want, but your read-only variable should be disabled. If you enable the read-only on two nodes, and if you are choosing the max writers equal to 3, then it will not work. Okay, if you disable the read-only on all the three nodes, and you can choose the max writer 1 or 2 and 2 or 3, that you can control with the proxy SQL. And for the writer is also reader, we have three settings. One is 0 and 1 and 2. If you set the 0, your writer node will not receive any reads. Okay, even if it is the active writer or if it is in the backup writer host group, they will not receive any reads. What are the nodes you have set read only equal to 1? If you enable the read only, those nodes can receive the reads. Okay, if you set writer is also reader equal to 1, in that case, what are the nodes available in the writer host group as well as backup writer host group? Those two host groups will receive the reads. And if you set writer is also reader equal to 2, in that case, what are the nodes available in the backup writer host group? They can only receive the reads. Okay, and you can for the read write split, you can configure the different roles in the MySQL underscore query rules table to split your reads across the server. You can isolate the reads from your writer to avoid some load in your writer node. And finally, you can do the automatic failover using the proxy SQL. You can also choose the node, which node you want to do the failover by defining the wait. Okay, yeah, so this is what I have in this presentation. And maybe if you have any questions, please.
Oh, I see the first question. Please answer it.
Yeah, let me check. For the all the sessions, all the statement in the same session, go to the same node. Actually, I am not aware. You can split your queries based on user database and defining the query rules. This session related, I think we don't have the option, but I can check this after this call, and I can come through the blog to answer this question. So far, I aware we don't have the option to do this, but I can check this.
We will send it to everyone interested. And we'll also be happy to help your company with creating a highly available database setup or introduce database automation in your organization. Feel free to attend our next webinar on April the 27th. It will cover the key features of MariaDB long-term support release recommended for production environments. And the link is on the questions and answers tab that you can see left on your screen. Anyway, we'll send it to you with this webinar's recording, and you'll have a chance to join next time. So thank you so much, and see you again soon.
Thank you guys for joining.